Hello and welcome to the Dice Never Lie Gaming Table. I am, as always, your friend and keeper of lore, Marathustra. I hope it doesn't spoil anybody's experience of Honor Among Thieves, however you decide to watch it, whether you are a privateer heading towards Tortuga and planning to watch it this evening on your couch, or someone who intends to go to the theater and support the OGL creators and horrible group that is Hasbro. I understand. Either way, you can enjoy the movie. I thought it was good, but I've also thought the Jeremy Irons version best were also entertaining as well. I enjoy D&D in a movie form. I always have. Doesn't mean they don't leave a lot lacking or a lot to be desired, and this movie, Honor Among Thieves, is no different. Needless to say, I'd like to thank Dave Arneson and Gary Gygax for the creation of Dungeons and Dragons, because Hasbro bought it. They did not create it. It is Arneson and Gygax who are the creators. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I would love to thank Matt Mercer as well as Matt Colville as some of the greatest inspirations to get back into the DM chair that I did in COVID times. And yeah, I absolutely am so glad that I got back into DMing after so many years. But thank you so much to all of the inspiring DMs out there, all of these creators creating wonderful world out there for their players. One reason why I think we will always find D&D lacking as you take something that is personal and yours and start to share it in a way that it's meant to be for everyone, always going to lose out. So, without further ado, I'd like to say where I felt like things were most lacking here. A bard who doesn't use magic, constantly saying, hey, why don't you magic things? To a sorcerer who doesn't use magic. Two classes who I would say, just by the nature of their inventiveness, their creativity, their imagination, weave magic into the world. Bards tend to do it by creativity and inspiration, and sorcerers almost by a innate force of will. Neither of these classes seem to ever really use magic in this movie, and both of them for their own reasons. I think that is high criticism. There was a bard who didn't do magicking, and a sorcerer who the running joke of the film, which is an incredible bore, is can't you just magic us past this? That is to leave aside the third character, who's perhaps the main character of this story, is a barbarian who doesn't rage, a barbarian who is level headed, strategic, and always in control of her faculties. She is an incredible action surger, constantly fighting and accomplishing so much more in combat than anybody else could, almost as if she were a fighter continually action surging. Would have been a great idea just to say she was a fighter. But realistically, she is a fighter with the Outlander background. I don't have nearly as many things to say about our tiefling druid, who is a very attractive redhead. That may be part of it. She was the edgy character. Perhaps one of the biggest things to always remember is your edgy character has to find a reason to open up to the group, and this character did arc into that reason. Her edginess was usually opened up with the Emerald Enclave, and through the movie, her edginess opened up with this group. Great way to remember that the edgy character has to participate in the group. But other than that, I felt like ignoring Wild Shape has a limited amount of times that she can do it. It was one of those things that they did pretty good with the Druid. I really enjoyed it. Special effects are obviously one of those things that has finally caught up to what some of these things can do, and I was actually quite enticed by how the Druid was able to accomplish things. The power level of most of the class, it would have been cool to see the Druid actually take on Elemental. Paladin, 100% a DMPC. There was a point in the movie where the Paladin was introduced, and clearly the players asked for a little bit of help from their DM, and for the next 3 sessions, they would show up. 4 hours would go by of the DM telling his story, and they would participate passively because, oh my gosh, that Paladin accomplished everything for them. If the sorcerer was level 10 because he can't cast magic, the others were 15, and the paladin was level 20. I think Hugh Grant was meant to be a player character as well. I don't know what his class was. He might have been another bard, but as we've seen in this movie, bards don't actually cast movie. Clearly, his only thing was that he was a charlotte in background. That's kind of what I have to say about what was most disappointing. I've got to say the MacGuffin McGuffed and was clearly going to subvert our expectations exactly how it was used to subvert our expectations. The classic Hollywood trope. They need to stop thinking that every single movie needs to subvert your expectations. Because to do that now, you gotta subvert the subversion and just do what you like, drop as little seedlings, a piece of candy. It was fucking predictable. Uh, Again, thank you, Arneson, Gygax. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this game, the catharsis that role playing shares with everybody. As always, I want to thank you very much for tuning into All Things Dice Never Lie. I'll be coming out with our last installment of Tollus Twin Star Marauders in a few days here. But otherwise, as always, please like, comment, and leave any thoughts that you have behind. Otherwise, if you'd like to find us on Discord, we will be running a new session 0 April came pretty quick here, maybe at the end of April. Still looking to try to have a full table before we do it. But as long as Tollus stays alive, we'll have Tollus running so we can get a session 0 set up for my homebrew world. Otherwise, everybody be well. Have a wonderful evening. No matter how you choose to see Honor Among Thieves, hope you enjoy it. There's a lot out there. Can't say I don't want to still see D&D on the big screen on a regular basis. Be well, everybody.